Now we'll do some questions related to topic pressure. The first one, you can see a manometer. You can use a screen annotation or a chat to state the answer. The diagram shows the level X and Y in a liquid manometer or a U-shaped manometer with a gas tap open. So the gas tap is open, means there's a gas supply. It is open, so gas can push this downward, and the other side is open to the atmosphere. So as the other side is open to the atmosphere is pushing it from the right hand side. Now first thing you have to identify, what about the gas pressure? Is it more than atmosphere or less than atmosphere? If it is more than atmosphere, we'll use the term the gas pressure is above atmosphere. If it is less than atmosphere, we'll use the term it is below atmosphere. So first thing, because you have to identify whether it is more than atmosphere or less than atmosphere. So what about the gas pressure in this diagram? Is it above atmosphere or below atmosphere? Or it is more than atmosphere or less than atmosphere? Yes, Abdullah Khan, Heather, Shahzeb, Abdullah Sarfraz. Yeah, good. So basically, when you see this manometer, from this figure we can say it is more than atmosphere. So that is one thing. It is more than atmosphere because the gas is pushing much harder, exerting more pressure. That's why the liquid level is lower than. So it means the gas pressure is above the atmosphere. When it is more than atmosphere, we also use that it is above atmosphere. That is first thing. So options with above atmosphere can be an answer. So it can be C or it can be D. It cannot be A or B because A and B shows that the gas pressure is less than atmosphere. Now what about how much difference is there? The difference is due to the level of the liquid, like the difference in the gas pressure and the difference in the atmospheric pressure is difference in the level of the liquid. So what is the difference in level of the liquid? So when you check 9 centimeter plus 9 centimeters, so total is 18 centimeter. So the difference in the level is 18 centimeters. So we also say that 18 centimeter of a liquid above atmosphere. Is it clear? Discussion. So D is the right answer. Heather, is it clear? Question 2. You can also use screen annotation to state the answer or a chat. It's up to you what you find it convenient. You can use that. The same downward force is there. So they are all applying the same force. Force is same. Which exert the greatest pressure? Pressure is force divided by area. Force is same. For the greatest pressure, area should be small. So it will exert the greatest pressure. So B, A is having, yeah, that's good. Is when you compare the area in contact, the area in contact, if area is more, then the pressure will be less. So they all exerting the same force. So the one which will have the least area will exert the highest pressure. So B is the right answer. Four identical measuring cylinder containing liquid, two container uh, two contain water of density 1000, so density of the water is 1000, and two have paraffin, density of a paraffin is 800. Which cylinder exert the least pressure? Because we know pressure exerted by the liquid depends on the density, gravity and depth. So we want the least pressure, so we want low density, and we want the least depth. So low density and least depth. So low density is paraffin and least depth, when you check, because here depth of water and depth of paraffin is same in B and D, but because paraffin is having low density, so it will exert the least pressure on the base. Is it clear? Question 3. In question 4, as the gas container is there, the gas container is connected, so we can identify the pressure of the gas, the pressure of the liquid and pressure of atmosphere. So here the pressure of a gas is higher, so we can say the pressure of the gas is equals to pressure of liquid plus pressure of atmosphere. Here atmosphere exerted pressure, liquid exert pressure and gas exert pressure. In the question, what is the difference between the gas, what is the pressure difference between the gas and the atmosphere? So if we pressure difference between gas and atmosphere, it means if I move this other side, so pressure of a gas minus pressure of atmosphere is equals to pressure of liquid. So basically the pressure difference between the gas and atmosphere is equals to the liquid pressure. So simply they are asking for liquid pressure or pressure exerted by the liquid. As the question is, what is the pressure difference? Difference means subtraction between the gas and the atmosphere. So pressure difference between the gas and atmosphere is equal to a liquid pressure. So they're asking a liquid pressure. How to calculate a liquid pressure? Liquid pressure is density of the liquid multiplied by gravity multiplied by depth. Density of the liquid which we use in this example, we are using a mercury. So that's density is 13,600. So 13,600 multiplied by gravity 10. But what about the height? Whenever you are taking a height, you always take a difference in the level. So what is the difference in the level? From the bottom, this height is 0.2 from the right hand side, and the full height is 0.6 for the left hand side. So what is the difference in the level? That's 0.4. So the height here is 0.400 or 0.4. So 0.400, when you multiply, it will come out 13,600 multiplied by 10 multiplied by 0.4, that is equals to 54,400. So C will be the right answer. You can check calculation again, Abdullah. When you multiply 13,600 with 10 with 0.4, you will get 54,400 Pascal. Is it clear? Anyone having a doubt? Abdullah Khan, Basira, Afreen, Heather, Shazib. So So whenever you're solving a question related to manometer, you always take a difference in the height. Okay, question 5. A brick of weight 80 Newton. So 80 Newton is acting down. So force, weight is the force, that is 80 Newton downward, and it is placed so we want to calculate the pressure. Pressure is force acting on unit area. We know the force, that is 80, but what about the area? What length I should take to calculate this area? What should be the length? So it will be 10 multiplied by 5, good, because this is 10, this one is 5, height is 20, so 10 multiplied by 5, that's equal to 50. So it will be 80 divided by 50. So 80 divided by 50, that's equal to 1.6. So 1.6 Newton per centimeter square. That is why D will be the right answer. Is it clear, this question? So we always take a base area, the area in contact. In question 6, what happened to the distance h, the difference in the level? One side we have a vacuum. Vacuum means no particles. When the manometer is taken to top of the mountain, when you take this manometer to a higher altitude, right now, like example, this is on the ground. On the ground, you have more particles of air. But when you take this to higher altitude, less particle. So what happened to this H? Look, if the pressure, this side it is closed, you can see it is closed here, and here is a vacuum. And here you have air particles. So air particles on the ground, there are more air particles, so they're pushing it. So on the ground, you have more air particles, so there's more pressure. That is why it will force more liquid to rise. But as you take this manometer to a higher altitude, so the number of the particles will decrease, number of air particles will decrease. So as the number of air particle will decrease, what happened? There will be less pressure. As there is less pressure, the difference in the level will decrease. So this value of the H, initially it was higher when it is on the ground, but when you take this to mountain, it will decrease because the atmospheric pressure decreases with height. So A is the right answer. Is it clear? But if the same manometer was open both sides, then there will be no change. Why? Because the pressure will be same from both sides. The diagram shows liquid containers. Which column of a liquid exert the greatest pressure on its container? The pressure exerted by the liquid increases with the density, increases with the depth. So when we compare, because number one, it should have a higher density and it should have greater depth. So when we compare A and B, they're asking for a greatest pressure. For a greatest pressure, it should have high density and it should have a greater depth. So when you check para A and C and D cannot be an answer because they have lower depths. So either it will be A or B. But when you check that A and B have the same depths, but the density of B, the density of a water is higher than paraffin. That's why B is the right answer. So the pressure which the liquid apply depends on the density, depends on the depth. Question 8. Four beakers containing same liquid. So same liquid is there. At which point the pressure the greatest? Same liquid is there. So density is not the factor, the depth. You have to just check the depth. Which is having greater depth? A, B, C or D? A is actually on the surface, so its depth is 0. What about B, C and D? Which is having a greater depth? So in this case, C is having a greater depth. That's why it exerts the most pressure, or C will have a greater pressure. Two cylindrical vessels are joined together, as you can see, and they're filled with liquid. How does the pressure at X compare with Y and Z? So pressure depends on density, liquid is same. So X and Y have the same depth, but Z is much deeper inside the liquid. So when we compare to Y, pressure at X will be, compared to Y, pressure at X will be same. Why same? Because they have the same depth. And compared to Z, the pressure at X will be lower. Why? Because X is having a lower depth as compared to Z. So pressure at X is same as Y, but pressure at X is lower than compared to Z. Is it clear? Question 9. Why lower? Because you can see Z is deeper inside compared to X. So the density or the pressure exerted by the liquid, so at Z it is more and at X it is less or lower. So they are saying compare to Z. When we compare with Z, what is the pressure at X? So pressure at X will be lower. And compare to Y, when we compare pressure of Y, it will be same as pressure of X. That's why C is the right answer. The density of a water is 1000 kilogram per meter cube and the gravitational field strength is 10 Newton per kilogram. What is the pressure above the atmosphere? When they say pressure difference, pressure above the atmosphere, means they're asking for the liquid pressure. So if they're asking for liquid pressure, you have to calculate the pressure of the liquid, that is density of a liquid multiplied by gravity multiplied by depth. What is the density of this liquid? 1000. What about the gravity is 10? But the depth, normally what student, a very common mistake, it is given in centimeter, they substitute in centimeter, you will get a wrong answer. This depth should always be in meter. So we have to convert centimeter into meter, dividing by 100, so it will be 0.2 meter. So 0.2 multiplied by 10, that is 2, and 2 multiplied by 1000, that is 2000. So B will be the right answer. So it look a very simple question, But a small mistake, if you forget to convert the unit, you will write the wrong answer and you will lose 1 mark for this MCQ. Five blocks have the same mass, but they have different area. A graph plotted to show a relation because we know the relation between pressure, we have the formula pressure is equals to force acting on unit area. So between force and pressure, they are directly proportional. What is the meaning of directly proportional? Means if I increase the force, the pressure will also increase. So if there was a graph between force and pressure or pressure and force, when two quantities are directly proportional, there will be a straight line starting from origin. But between pressure and area, they are inversely proportional because when we increase the, so here when we increase the force, the pressure will increase. Or if we decrease the force, the pressure will decrease. So this is called a direct relation. But opposite for pressure and area, so if we reduce the area, the pressure will increase. So this type of relation in which we increase one quantity and the other decrease, we call that as inversely proportional. So if they are inversely proportional, what is the graph for inversely proportional quantities? It is a curve. It will always be a curve in which one of the quantity is increasing, the other will decrease, but it will be a curve, not a straight line. This is a mathematical relation for direct. This is for directly proportional, in which one quantity increases, the other also increases, and this is called an inversely proportional relation, a graph for inversely proportional. If one quantity increases, the other will decrease. So we have this question that 5 blocks are there, the force is same. What is the relation between pressure and area? So we have the formula, pressure is force on unit area. If we increase the area, the pressure should decrease. So which of the graph shows an inverse proportional? D is representing an inverse proportional relation. It is always, it's not a straight line. In an inverse proportional, it will always be a curve. So this is a mathematical equation which is explain why the graph is always a curve. We just have to remember this idea that for a directly proportional quantities, it will always be a straight line, and for inversely proportional quantities, it will be a curve. In the question, they're asking, we are increasing the area. As you can see, 5 blocks are there. They have the same mass, but they have different base areas. They are all on the horizontal table. A graph is plotted between a relation between pressure and area. So what is the relation between pressure and area? If area is increased, the pressure will decrease. So graph C and D both are representing when we are increasing the area, the value of the pressure is decreasing. But because they are inversely proportional, so this will always be a curve. Like here, area is 1, 2, 3, pressure is 10, 20, 30, 40. They mentioned they're changing the area. They did not say area is decreasing or area is increasing. They simply mentioned they're changing the area. Because 5 blocks are there, they have different base areas. So if 5 blocks we place which are having the same weight or same mass and having different area, so the one which will have a large area, yeah, they could even decrease, but the graph between the pressure and area will always be a curve. If the area is more, the pressure is less. If area is less, the pressure will be high. Is it clear, Abdullah Sarfraz? Yeah, they could decrease as well. That does not make difference to the concept. Why B is always, you can see, area is increasing, pressure is also increasing. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is 10, 20, 30, 40, and so on. So when area is 1, pressure is 10. Area is 2, pressure is 20. Area is 3, pressure is 30. So pressure is always increasing in A and B. In C and D it is decreasing, but because area and pressure are inversely proportional, so it will always be a curve. A graph between them is always a curve if the force is kept constant. In this question, we have each tire of a car has an area of 100 centimeters square in contact. Means one tire is having an area of contact 100 centimeters square. The car has a mass of 1600 kilogram. The weight of a car is equally distributed. The gravity is 10. What is the pressure exerted? So because for a car there are 4 tires, so as there are 4 tires, area of each tire which is in contact with the ground is 100 centimeters square. So this is 100 centimeters square, area in contact 100 centimeters square, 100 centimeters square and 100 centimeters square. So what is the total area in contact? That will be equal to 400 centimeters square. That's a total area of the car tires which is in contact with the surface. Then mass of the car is 1600 kilogram. But mass is not the force, the weight is the force. So what will be the weight of the car, the force of the car on the surface? So how to get the weight? Weight is mass multiplied by gravity. So 1600 multiplied by 10. So it will be 16,000 Newton. So the force which this car is exerting on the ground is 16,000 Newton. And the total area of the car tires in contact is 400 centimeters square. So to calculate a pressure is force divided by area. So force is how much? 16,000 divided by area is 400. So 16,000 divided by 400, that will be 40 Newton per centimeter square. So C will be the right answer. Is it clear, discussion? Because why we did not substitute the mass, as mass is not the force, the weight is the force which is acting downward. And we have to take the total area because that's a total area, total force divided by total area. So we can calculate the pressure exerted by this car on the surface. The diagram shows a simple mercury barometer. Which height is measured the atmospheric pressure? A, B, C or D? The concept is that the air is pushing, try to push it, this mercury, so mercury will rise until it will stop, and the pressure exerted by the mercury is same as pressure exerted by the atmosphere. So which height we take? We take the level of the liquid in a tube to a level of the liquid in a container. Question 14, an engineer designed a dam wall. So he designed a dam wall for a reservoir. Reservoir means to store this water. Which factor determine the pressure at X? Pressure exerted by the liquid. Which factor depends on? So pressure exerted by the liquid depends on the pressure exerted by the liquid depends on the depth of the liquid. That's why directly A will be the A, depth and density, but density is not given, so only option we are left with depth. That's why we select depth. Uh, Question 15, the base of a statue rests on a level. It was made from a stone which is 2 meter long, 2.5 meter high, and 0.8 meter wide. The weight is 96,000. So weight of the statue is 96,000 Newton. It is, the statue is 2 meter long, 0.8 meter wide, and 2.5 meter high. So this is 0.8, 2, and 2.5. So what we need the base area. So base area will be 2 multiplied by 0.8. That's equal to 1.6 meters square. And the force, so 96,000, because we need a pressure. So 96,000 force divided by 1.6. It is equals to, because we need a pressure is force divided by area. So 96,000 divided by 1.6, so it is coming out 60,000. 60,000 Pascal, or you can also say 60 kilopascal. So D will be the right answer. Is it clear? Yes, Abdullah Sarfraz. Is it clear? In this question, this is a structure question. The atmospheric pressure is 1 exponent 5 Pascal. Atmospheric pressure means pressure from outside. So the atmospheric pressure, the pressure from outside is 1 into 10 to the power 5 Pascal, or 100,000 Pascal. The pressure of the air in the can is reduced. The can collapses when the pressure of the air in the can falls to 6,000. So pressure from inside means, like example, if I draw a can, a 2D, so pressure from the can inside the can is 6,000, and pressure from outside is 100,000. Pascal. Explain why the can collapse. So what is the reason why this can collapse? Because the pressure from inside is lower than the outside pressure. That's why the can collapse. So it's a 1 mark because the difference in the pressure, the outside pressure is more than the inside pressure. That is why this can collapse. The next part, we have to calculate the force. The surface area of face X is 0.12. Calculate the resultant force. So we want to calculate a resultant force. First, what is the resultant pressure? From outside, it is 100,000 Pascal and inside it is 6,000. So 100,000 minus 6,000, that is 94,000. So the resultant pressure, because inside it is 6,000 and outside is 100,000. So what is the result of these two pressure? The result of these two pressure is 94,000 Pascal. So we have the resultant pressure and we have the area is given 0.12. Area of this side is 0.12 meters square. So what about the force? Pressure is force divided by area. So pressure is 94,000. Force we are finding and area is 0.12. So 94,000 multiplied by 0.12, that is equals to 11,280 Newton. So the force on this side will be 11,280 Newton. Is it clear? Discussion? As you can see in the question, they mention like this is a can. It is filled with air. The air is exerting 6,000 Pascal and the atmosphere, they mention it is exerting 1 exponent 5 or 100,000 Pascal. So what is the result of these two pressure? Can is the atmosphere is pushing it inside, can is pushing the air inside the can is pushing it outside. So what is the result of these two pressure? The result of these two pressure will be 94,000 Pascal. And the area, the total area of this is given 0.12. So force is pressure multiplied by area. The resulting pressure is 94,000 and the area is 0.12. So when we multiply, it will 11,280 newtons. So these are the questions related to topic pressure. Next class we'll start block 2, which is about thermal physics. Any question related to the class today?